I'm Mr. Juarez. I'll be covering creating concept maps, posters, and other visual representations of events and peoples and ideas. And so this is going to be kind of different, Barb. I'm going to say what we would say in the quotes, and then since I don't really have any classmates, I'm just going to say like prompt on what I would do and say in that situation, and then just kind of go on with that. So here we go. Hello students, today we are going to learn about a new reading comprehension strategy. Today we are going to be creating concept maps, posters, and visual representations of books that we have read or are going to read to help us process what we have read and learned about. Visual representations of reading should be well organized, visually appealing, and include the main aspects of the book at hand. Let's look at some examples of these visual representations that I'm talking about. And then I would have different examples and show the classroom what it is, and it cover different topics like we listed in the Google Doc. And then I would just list out the features and something you may include in your own visual representation. So to have a discussion and what makes more effective than others. And then I would go on to saying what I would say to the class. I would say, remember that book that we just finished reading about Dian Fossey? Together we are going to make a quick concept map about her and her life. And so this is part of the release of responsibility, so we'll do that together. But we will as a class, make a simple and quick visual representation together of the life of Dian Fossey. This will consist of students guiding through, making, and suggesting ideas at prompt learning. Then we will say to the class, each of you have a picture book at your table about a certain person and or event in history. Now you guys will read the picture book together, and as a table, make a visual representation of this event and or person. Feel free to get creative and use lots of colors and pictures to make your visual representation the best it can be. So then this is part of the release of responsibility. So they're doing it and we're helping, and students are reading their books. And so what we would have in classroom is have everyone gathered up at a table and have the different books like we do in class, and then just have them create their own visual representation with their group, and then they can share out. And then once they're done, they can share with their table mates. But then when they're all done, what we had in mind was having each visual representation about their book around the room of the classroom, and then everyone can take a gallery walk just to get more ideas, more information about the event in history or time era or place. So like I said, the graduate release responsibility, kind of talked about that. Why we need to use this comprehension strategy, because social studies and history may be difficult, and this allows students with visual representation as a strategy that they can use when they're reading to make sense of it, and this will help organize their ideas, as well as being able to learn from other people that create the same thing or build off that. So when it would be most useful and when it would not, I think it'd be more useful after the book, because then you are able to get all the information that's provided in the textbook, and you are able to even conduct your own search if you wanted to spark that even deeper learning. But yeah, and then you can see if there's certain people doing the same book, you can just bounce ideas off, and you can even discuss with visual representation just to get a better understanding of that. And then when it would not be, I would say beforehand, because you just don't have the information or any background knowledge about the event or person or people, whatever it may be that you're focusing on. So I don't think using it in the beginning would be beneficial at all. And I think another time it wouldn't be really beneficial would be during the book. So say you're at chapter 5, and then you were to implement this. It wouldn't be ideal, because then this would sidetrack the reader, and it would maybe inflict on their reading, and so maybe they forget and they have to reread or something like that. So it wouldn't really be beneficial if you were to do it before or during. I would just let the readers read it through, and then present this idea or strategy at the end, something they can use, and then they can just bounce off ideas off of one another. So that's everything, Barb. So this is my student right here. I just kind of had to mix it in, what I would do, what I would directly say to the classroom, and then how I would implement it and what the students would show. So hopefully this works. Not the best circumstances, but had to make it do. So thank you, Barb, and have a good one.